Catch cans, what are they? Do you need one? And which one do you need? In today's episode, we're going to answer all those questions and more, so stay tuned. So you just modified your car and you're making big power, but your stock crankcase ventilation system might not be cutting it anymore. You might need one of these, a catch can. What is a catch can? Let's head over to the table and I'll show you. A catch can is essentially a filter for your crankcase ventilation system. Incoming air-oil mixture from your PCV valve or your valve covers come into the catch can, get filtered through these ports, and then they're either vented to atmosphere or recirculated back into your intake system. On a stock car, this air-oil mixture goes directly into your intake system. And that's fine for a commuter car, but when we're talking about high-performance vehicles, making big boosts, big power, that means a lot of blow-by, meaning a lot of oil going into your intake. We don't want that because we don't want any reduced efficiencies, carbon buildup, or even pre-ignition. So you may have heard that term blow-by get thrown around a lot. What is it? Blow-by is when high-pressure combustion gases escape past the piston rings into the crankcase. Now, on a high-performance vehicle that's making a lot of boost, or maybe it's got high clearances on the piston rings, that's going to be a lot of pressure entering the crankcase. Obviously, we don't want that, so we're going to vent it. That's where a Vibrant Performance Catch Can comes in handy. All Gen3 Catch Cans come with -12 ports on top, integrated filtration, so as you can see we have these nice little filter barrels that are filled with a stainless mesh for filtering that air-oil mixture we were talking about earlier, integrated slosh baffling, a dipstick on top so we can check the fluid level. All the brackets have these nice 90-degree bends in them with integrated indexing slots for the height and the angle. You could also flip this if your application requires it so that you have the bend on the top. Moving over to the reservoir, we sell these in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. And one cool thing about the reservoirs is that they're actually threaded on the top and the bottom. So if I wanted to put the knurl on the top, I could do that. That's a pretty cool look too. As you can see, I have the 2-port catch can in my hand. That obviously means that I have 2 ports on top and a vent to atmosphere filter at the bottom. We also sell with a 4-port lid. That's for recirculating applications, but we'll touch on that a little bit later when we get to the install. Speaking of install, I guess let me show you how quick and easy it is to put one of these on the RX-7 behind me. So as you guys just saw, I mocked up all of my lines and I installed the catch cans. I just wanted to show you guys a cool product that I didn't mention earlier. This is our dual catch can mount. This is really cool if you want to mount 2 catch cans side by side. What I'm actually going to be doing is the catch can on the passenger side is going to be a power steering reservoir. I'm going to modify it. And then this is obviously my catch can that I'm going to be using. You see that I mocked up some of the lines here. What I'm using is -10, our standard line. So I converted these -12 ports to -10, and I've gone and kind of installed, like on this side, it's a bit of a complicated mess to get to my -10 line, but I really love the way it turned out because I have this like straight path and it's very parallel. It looks really nice. But let's get to making some lines. All right, just like that, we're done. We've completed our 2 lines, and I wanted to give you guys a quick overview of the system. So essentially, as you can see, catch cans are mounted up front on this plasma cup bracket. I'm probably gonna have to remake this bracket, but that'll be a future issue. In terms of the lines, I went with our -10 standard braided hose. As you see on the can, I have 2 -10 120s. That goes down in this nice like parallel fashion. These 2 45-degree fittings. The first line is connected to this nice billet JDL oil filler neck with a -10 ORB to -10 and flare adapter. This second line it's kind of complicated, but what I used is a -6 hardline adapter, 90 with a forged 90 on top. Then it converts from a 6 to a 10. Then I used our oil drain extender just so that I could get these two lines like pretty much like bang on parallel in line with each other. It's a bit of a mess. Like, I don't typically recommend using all these different adapters, but you know, I wanted to go for that look, right? And then one last thing I wanted to touch on is, of course, I have a 2-port catch can, right? So that's 2 lines going into the catch can with a vent to atmosphere filter on the top. If I had gone with a 4-port, another option I could have done is, of course, I have my 2 lines going into the catch can. I could have plugged one of the other ports, and then the remaining port, I would have ran that to my intake. So now I'm recirculating back into my intake. If you're gonna do something like that, you're gonna wanna make sure that your intake line is before a turbo, before a MAF sensor, and it's not like pressurized or anything like that, right? But yeah, that's pretty much the system. And that's a wrap on our catch can install. It came out beautiful, exactly how I hoped. And of course, now I don't have to worry about any blow-by going back into my intake or any oil mess in my engine bay. It's officially car season here in Canada, so I gotta finish this car. I wanna drive it this summer. So you guys are gonna wanna stay tuned. We have a few videos coming out. Next one is gonna be our dual mount oil cooler setup. I'm really excited for that. And be sure to like the video, share it with all your friends, comment down below if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.